Steve, my good man, how the devil are you?
I'm good, fella. How are you?
I'm very good, my friend, very good indeed. I'm back up in Scotland now, like properly. We're at the hostel. I've got a fresh can of Tennent's, Steve. You know I'm in Scotland when the Tennent's is here.
You look very happy about having that fresh can of Tennent's as well.
I've missed it, mate. It's a nice beer. It's like Foster's, but a bit less shit. So
Shit. That'll please
Yeah,
all our Aussie listeners.
yeah, that's it. It's the Scottish equivalent. It's the basic lager that's the go-to, and it's just a bit less shit than Foster's. So I enjoy it a lot.
I'm going to have to hunt some of this down and try one night.
Yeah, well, if you don't, mate, I'll bring you some back. They do like the special brew type version as well. That's like 6% or something. That'll fuck knocking your head off.
No, we'll stay away from that one. I'll stick to the normal one.
We'll stick with the light lagers. That's what we're happy with.
Yeah, for us not really drinkers, I think that might blow my head off. I'll leave the special brew to you.
Yeah, me and the other people with slight alcohol dependency problems.
There's nothing wrong with that.
How's your weekend and everything, Steve?
Yeah, not bad. Bit hectic. Lots going on. Sort of cramming the racing into 2 days, but we'll get on to that. But other than that, yeah, it's quite nice. Took the boys for a walk on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty chill. Nice to be out after a week of feeling rough. So, yeah. How about you?
Yeah, all good, mate. Got up here. It's been grey and rainy, as is to be expected this time of year, this far north. But it's just nice to be back, to be honest, Steve. It's weird not being in the same room, though. It's 2 weeks in a row now we've not been in the same room, and I'm getting used to the Skype thing again, but I still prefer being in the same room.
Yeah, same here. I keep sort of forgetting. I'm like getting everything out. I'm like, shit, we don't need that anymore. Like Tim's back up there, but I'm glad you got the poncho back on. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, well, it's like I say, it's chilly in it, so it's time to wear the poncho. I've also got my thicker poncho just on the chair next to me in case it gets a bit too cold, so I can put that one on underneath the nice big baggy one I've got going in a minute.
Like it. I'm feeling like a Western style movie coming on.
Yeah, it's funny how many people, because I've just been like, now I'm here. While I was wearing this poncho at home or in Norfolk when I was actually in the house, I didn't really wear it out anywhere, but as soon as I got here, I'm like, well, now I can just wear it everywhere all the time. And a few people have been like, you look a bit like Clint Eastwood today, Tim. I'm not, thank you. And I had it flicked up over my shoulder the other day like this, but with the hood up.
Nice.
And, I was told I looked a bit like the Bedouin Batman. So yeah, it's been causing a lot of fun for everyone, but it's warm and I'm happy. So that's all we can ask for. Exactly.
That's all that matters. I was desperately trying to slap a shot of you then, just with your poncho all up and horse in the background. Have to get you a hat.
Yeah, that's it. I'll see if I can find one. I bet there's one kicking about here somewhere, mate.
We've got just about everything else on the wall in that place. There's got to be a Stetson somewhere.
Exactly that. Exactly. Anyway, Steve, less about my chosen dress for the day and let's talk about motorbikes, mate, because what a cracking weekend we had.
Mate, it was fantastic. Got off to a slow start, but it was good.
You got off to a very slow start, to be fair. I think, should we just dive right in, shall we?
Let's go straight for it. Let's not
Good
chit-chat.
stuff. That's it. Okay, I'm Tim, he's Steve, and this is for the love of MotoGP. Now, if you're new to MotoGP, guys, don't forget to check out our Introduction to MotoGP show. It will tell you everything you need to know to start enjoying the sport that we all love. We go through the teams, the riders, the storylines, we cover what the weekend looks like, we cover the rule sets, we even try to cover the warning flags. But, as those of you who have been listening already this year will already know, we got that very, very wrong, so ignore all that shit. The rest of the show's good, ignore the flags.
Just bow out with that bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, aside from that, Steve, as we were saying, what a race weekend, mate.
Mate, it was fantastic. It really was good the whole way through. We only had 2 days of it, but my God, they crammed it in, and it was just good. All of
And the
it.
drama was building as well. We had the drama of, Taka Nakagami's not going to be there because he's got COVID. Fuck, the bikes aren't going to be there because there's a plane breakdown and half of the shit's stuck in Africa. And then, we're like, it's getting closer and closer. Friday rolls around and we're like, oh shit, nothing's here. They cannot start. So they had to cancel Friday. And then Taka Nakagami's back because he didn't have COVID after all. He just had a dodgy test. So he passed 2 negative tests. He can come back. Wonderful. And then everything kicked off Saturday.
Yep. It was a little worried at one point. I sat here, I was like, well, hang on. If the plane's broken down or for whatever reason it's not there, let's get it out there. How are we going to get it out there? And I was getting a little nervy. I was like, oh, hello. What's happening here now? But when I scrolled onto Twitter, literally everyone that was there, every kind of journo was just tracking this plane. Just constantly. Everyone had their flight trackers up and it's like, it's in the air. Great. It was just like live updates. So I just had pictures of them all just like faces pressed against screens like, come on, flight number 1, whatever.
This flight tracking app has probably never been as used as it was this weekend. The people who run that app are like, whoa, what the fuck has happened? Why are so many people looking at this?
Some shit's going down, Lost. The second generation is happening or something, and everyone's tracking that flight. It's just, oh my God. Yeah, everyone was just tweeting about it. And then it landed and it all kicked off. It was great.
Yeah, exactly. And then the weekend did get ahead, but we missed all of Friday.
Yep.
Just with the gear caught up. Saturday rolls round, and it was a weird Saturday, wasn't it? We had
It was a weird Saturday.
FP1, FP2, and qualifying for all classes on Saturday.
All in one day.
Did MotoGP have 3 free practice sessions?
Yeah, no, 2, I believe.
It was only 2 for them as well, was it?
Yeah, because I got a little bit confused. Because the telly programming got all confused as well, because they just kind of kept the listing the same. So I tuned in to what I thought was going to be the time schedule for MotoGP.
Yeah.
And because they changed it all, it was then like back to Moto3. I was like, well, hang on, where's MotoGP? And then it just rolled round again. It was like FP2 for everyone else, and then went to FP1. I was like, oh, bloody confused. But
I kept going on to MotoGP.com and looking at the schedule and trying to work it out. Like, oh my God, what's happened here? Then comparing it to the BT Sport schedule. I was like, this is tough to try and work out what's actually when.
Yeah, I just left it on in the background. I was like, right, just leave it on and we'll pick out what we can, when we can, and then it'll all be good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we got there in the end. Finally, it was like, oh my God, let's get some track action going.
Yeah, exactly. I was pretty bummed because I kind of cleared Friday ready to just sit and watch all 3 practices and stuff. And then I had quite a lot of stuff to do Saturday. And in the evening, I was going to try and watch qualifying. And as it transpired, I watched obviously nothing on Friday and then only managed to catch qualifying and stuff on the Saturday. So I feel like I missed quite a lot, which I was a bit bummed about.
I missed the morning sessions, but then picked up qualifying on Saturday, which was fine. It's fine because I don't often get to watch it all Friday, Saturday, because obviously work, and then depending on what time it's aired, I don't get to see it all. But I picked up most of it, and then Sunday, what did we do Sunday? Oh, we went out, and then because like the time difference, we still got back in time to watch everything. It was great.
Yeah, it was quite nice it being on in the evening again.
Yeah, it was a bit like annoying for me because I was having to put Brody to bed, so like his bedtime is bang on 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah, that's poor timing actually. But at least you got the pause function on the TV.
No, I was tactical, you see, so I just had it on upstairs. So I was laying on the bed with him, just like gently rocking him, like rubbing his hair. I was like, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Phone in the other hand. I ended up laying up there with him and watching the entire race.
Nice.
So as it went on, I'm sitting there desperately trying to not shout and wake him up. Just had to sit there just like, yay!
Just very quietly. Yep, whoop.
Yeah, very muted sort of celebration.
Yeah. How did you feel about a 2-day race weekend? I feel like if I'd known the 2-day race weekend was going to happen, I think I could have really enjoyed it because I'd have just saved the Friday. I could have done everything on the Friday and then really just planned my Saturday and Sunday very well and concisely.
I think when it actually finished, I quite enjoyed it because I do get a bit bummed out again, like being in Europe and like a vast majority of the races are European, so around our time zones. Yeah. I miss everything on Friday because I'm at work, and then have to try and play catch up in the evening. And I'm one of these people because I love it so much. When I'm at work, I'm constantly getting my phone out of my pocket looking for the updates.
Yeah.
So I found not having that, although I wasn't at work anyway, it felt like something had been taken away because I got so used to it. Um, but then having like a full on day, Saturday, it just was quite nice. It was different. And I think it was just that little break from the norm, break from routine
Yeah.
that made it quite nice. Just such a like full on day Saturday because it was just the entire day.
Yeah,
So,
that's it. I quite liked it when Formula One trialled it a couple of years ago as well. They trialled a couple of 2-day weekends, and I quite like that as well. I like the 3-day weekend spread out, but I also just like it every now and again. Just cram it all in and let's go with that.
yeah, I have one for a break of the norm every now and again. Just chuck something in there. 'Cause otherwise, you know what you're going to get. You know the
It's why
format.
Assen used to be fun and ridiculous. Just because it was on a Saturday, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why are you on a Saturday? And it just because it always had. Then they changed it. It was like, no, it's not right.
Yeah,
Put it back to Saturday. It always has been Saturday. It was Saturday.
yeah, exactly.
It was just that break from routine, which just added a bit of spice, which was lovely.
Yeah, quite.
But there we go. That's gone now as well. So
Yes, yeah, fair. But Steve, as we were saying on the preview show here, Argentina is just a race weekend where weird shit happens, and it's just another example of just weird shit happening at Argentina.
yeah, there's always some voodoo that goes down there. It's just like what I don't know. The shaman's been there like the week before and just sprinkled some mojo out there.
I like that every race now there's always just got to be a shaman involved. Well, we've seen a shaman once, therefore MotoGP need an official shaman that's just there all the time.
I think that should become a job. And with that poncho, I think.
Oh my god, I could be the MotoGP shaman. Oh, maybe, Steve, what we should do is we should get everyone listening to this show to email Dorna and say, you need a shaman, and we know the guy.
We know he's got the look. He's got the dreads. Tie him up. You could get some real spang dangly stuff going in there.
Mate, it could be great. If I could put some now these days, get some wire coat hangers in them, we could bend them into all wacky shapes. That'd be great.
They are getting long, mate.
They are pretty long now, yeah. But yeah, there we go. That's my new career aspirations, is to be the official MotoGP shaman.
Excellent. I'll let you inform Cherie about that one.
That's fine. I assume Dorna will be paying me at least 6 figures a year to do so, Steve. So, we at that point I can afford to fly Cherie and I around the world, and you can come as like my Uccio, Steve. You could just be the guy there to just like dress me in the mornings and stuff.
Just get you dressed. Just bathe you and get you dressed. Maybe not.
Yeah,
bathe
exactly. You can bathe me. That's fine.
Well,
I ain't adverse. Whatever it is, as long as there's a beer in my hand, Steve, I'm happy.
I could be the beer assistant.
Yeah, that's what I'd need.
Yeah, where's the beer gone? Drank it. Well, no, that never happened.
I'd be quite upset. But all right, well, you're fired, pal.
Yeah, 4 beers in, I'd be no use. But dress yourself.
Yeah, just asleep in the corner. Oh, fuck's sake, Steve.
Yeah, I got to dress myself again. Forgotten how to tie my shoes.
I don't tend to wear shoes that need to be tied up, Steve. That's just a lot of hassle. I'm very much a Velcro kind of guy.
Oh, I'm just barefoot.
That's fair.
Unless I'm at work. They really don't like you being barefoot at work. They dislike that.
Yeah, it's funny when you've got heavy machinery and powerful tools kicking about how little people like you walking around with no shoes on.
Yeah, I've tried it. Yeah, didn't go down too well.
No, that's fair. Anyway, Steve, let us dive into our review of Argentina, shall we?
Let's go for it, buddy.
We'll cover the top 5 finishers in Moto2 and Moto3, and then we'll properly dive into the MotoGP stuff for our nice in-depth review. I say nice because I enjoy it. I don't actually know if anyone else cares.
I don't know, but we're going to chat anyway, so they might as well listen.
Exactly that. We're going to chat about it. We're going to record it. We're going to pop it online. At that point, you just may as well listen.
You just might as well.
So, Steve, top 5 finishes in Moto3 then. In fifth place was Tatsuki Suzuki. 4th place, and this is a name we don't see very often up in the top 5 here, Riccardo Rossi. I feel like Riccardo Rossi's been there for a really long time and has very rarely done anything exciting, and that must suck when your surname is Rossi and you're a motorcycle racer.
Yeah. As soon as you see that on a racer's CV, someone's going to take note.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he does feel like he's been there forever. He feels like that guy who's just always at the back of the family photo shoot that has just managed to elbow his way to the front for once.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm still here. Woo.
I remember once, like, Alexis Masbu, I think was his name, was a guy very much like that was very much, who was just there forever, won maybe 2 races in his career, but was just there, always there. And I feel like for the first, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years I was watching Moto3, like, he was just there the whole time.
Yeah, there's been several guys like that. I think of another example off the top of my head. Uichi Wee, who was there years ago in like the 125s, who was just
Okay.
always there. He was always in the top 10, but never quite setting the world on fire. And
Yeah.
then I think he got one win, and everyone was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
You're like, this fellow, who's that? Never heard of him before.
Yeah, but then you looked at his starts, and it was like an incredible amount. It's like, where the fuck have you been? Just hanging around the back. Hello.
Just chilling, just waiting for that one day that he can just crush it.
Yeah, that's it.
So third place in Moto3 then was Ayumi Sasaki. Second place was one of our championship protagonists in Dennis Foggia. And first place, after what was quite a ding-dong battle between the two of them, was one Sergio Garcia, who is now leading that Moto3 championship.
He is, and looks very, very good for it as well.
Yeah, him and Dennis Foggia, man, like it could be a good battle throughout this year between them. They were the only two guys that really could take the fight to Pedro Acosta last year.
Yeah, they were.
So it will be very good to see those two going hammer and tongs this year. I think Moto3 could be a really fun duel between the two of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think come the end of the season, we could be in for a cracker.
Yeah.
Probably all the year as well, because they love a good battle.
Exactly. Well, it's Moto3, isn't it? Like, there's not really many opportunities to just break away and get it done. Like, it's just a battle.
Yeah, you're right there, mate.
Moto2, then, Steve. The top five looked like this. Fifth place was Jake Dixon. Fourth, Aaron Canet. Third, Iagura. Second, Somkiat Chantra. And first, once again, was Celestino Vietti. That is, especially the top four guys there, is a potent mix. That Aaron Canet, Iagura. Honestly, like, that's the championship battle, pretty much.
I think so, mate. I absolutely love Canet. I just love everything about him. I love his tattoos. I love his riding style. Just all of it. So, yeah, happy to see him there. Iagura as well. He keeps popping up. He's just there.
He's just there, mate. He's not far away from a win at this point.
No, he's not. And, like, Jake Dixon, British lad, he's starting to creep in.
Yeah, I find Jake Dixon that sort of annoys me a little because I'm rooting for him because he's British, and even though I don't really have any national pride at all, I still can't help but root for British people in international sport. So I'm rooting him for.
It's just like a natural thing to do.
Yeah, it's funny. But so I'm rooting for him for that, and he does the same things that Sam Lowes did, the same things that Scott Redding did, where he's just looks so good, but he's just gonna crash a lot.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. But, you know, he's managed to keep it on the bike. He's moved across the gas this year, which instantly seems to have made a difference. So we'll see. It's early days yet, 3 rounds in.
Yeah,
I know. Keep scoring a few good points. You know, he'll keep creeping up there.
Yeah, exactly. And now Celestino Vietti is leading that championship by quite a margin, actually. And Somkiat Chantra is looking good now. A win and a second place in the last 2 races. He looks like he could, out of nowhere, really,
he's
start
just
fighting
appeared.
for the... Apparently, he's now got more points in the first 3 rounds of this year than he's ever had in a whole season before this.
Yeah, I know. I saw that stat and I was like, bloody hell, what a start to a season. If that, well, it is right.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden, something's just clicked. It's like he must be doing backflips.
Yeah, mate, he's properly stoked. Like a great season for him so far, and let's just hope it continues, man. And actually, a word for Fermin Aldeguer here in Moto2, who this 16-year-old that's in Moto2 is just looking rapid. He put it on pole in this race on the Bosco Scuro machine, and then he had that weird, horrible crash with Celestino Vietti, in which Vietti survived to go on and win the race, but Aldeguer just. Scary, man. Like, he went down pretty hard, but it looked incredible up until that point. 16 years old. Fuck me. I hadn't even got a paper round at 16.
I know this guy's doing this in Moto2. But yeah, it's a weird crash. But I watched it, and as he sort of low-sided, the back wheel dug in, which then spun him around.
And then the problem was it spun him in a way that all he could do was hold on via the throttle.
Yeah,
so it kept
made it
spinning.
worse.
Yeah, but like you saw it happen, and I saw it happen. I was like, what the fuck? And they show it in slow-mo. And you see, as soon as he falls, you're like, oh shit, the natural reaction there is just to hold on. And by holding on, he's just spun the throttle all the way around and made it so much worse. But yeah, it was a weird crash.
It was. We've all had those situations, haven't we, where it's like fallen over or something. But it's a blur. It's an instant blur. And you have no control over what like your limbs are doing. And that must be exactly what happened to him. You know, it's happened, pinned it, done, made it worse. Oh, look, it's gone earth, sky, earth, sky, earth, sky.
Yeah.
Ambulance.
Yeah, quite.
Which is normally what happens. But But yeah, scary.
It happens to
scary
most of us anyway. Most normal human beings, it's an ambulance. He just got up from being clearly knocked out and having a bike fly into him to just land limping away because obviously, as with every other motorcycle in the world, racer in the world, he's just an absolute boss.
Yeah, just made of sterner stuff than everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Son of a bitch.
Rightio then, Steve. Here we go.
We're into it.
Is it, my friend? This is the MotoGP race review for Argentina at Termo de Rio Hondo.
It is.
We'll run through it as we normally do, Steve. We're just going to run through the factories here. You and I both agreed this week. It was very easy, the order of the factories, and then we will just get talking about the riders throughout. After this, Steve, we've also got our COTA preview to get through as well. So I don't think it's going to be Yeah, I know, it's mad, isn't it? It was after I was watching this one, I was kind of like, it's not a double header, is it? It's Argentina. It's literally the furthest track away from anywhere else. It can't possibly be a double header. Oh, nah, shit, turns out it's a double header.
Yeah, I completely forgot. You messaged me and was like, oh, it's COTA this weekend. I was like, fuck, it is.
Yeah.
I was thinking it'll just be a normal show. I was like, shit, no, it's not at all.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to review Argentina, then we're going to preview COTA. So let's dive in, Steve.
Let's go straight for it, mate.
Okay, so top of the list here, Steve, as far as factories go, Yamaha. Overall, mate, oof.
Not a good
weekend Yamaha wanted.
Not at all. Not at all, mate. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but their woes are just getting woeier.
Yeah, I think it's lack of rear grip and no top speed is the problem here.
Yeah, complete lack of what seems to be development.
Cutting.
Yes, but that's what all the riders seem to be saying. You know, look, the lack of top speed is evident, especially down a straight like this.
Yeah,
they're just getting blasted past, and you know, if you can't grip and you're not quick, you're pretty fucked in the racing world.
Quite.
You know, two essential things. What was racing made for? The fastest people.
And the fastest machines, and that's just. Yeah, it's tough, mate, at the minute for all of these Yamaha guys. We'll start with the satellite boys, Steve, in the RNF Racing squad, and that's Darren Binder and Andrea Dovizioso. Darren Binder qualified 23rd, not quite last. Finished the race in 18th. But, you know, so far he's had two cracking races, another what seemed to be a pretty instant-free race. Yeah. We were all very hard on Darren Binder before he came in. You and I especially, but I think you as well, and every other person, either fan or journalist or whoever you are, everyone was hard on Darren Binder, and he's again proven us all wrong. He's going to be the only idiot not to fucking crash this year. He's going to be the only twat to finish every single race.
Probably, you know, everyone was giving him a good slating, like you say. We were no exception. Mm-hmm. But so far, no race crashes. Scored good points, and he's just showing us all wrong. If he can carry on this kind of form and just keep building, by the end of the year, he's going to be looking at one of the top Yamaha riders in the points table.
You might not be wrong. Actually, it's a good point. Where is he compared to Morbidelli right now? I've got the good stuff. I've got it open in front of me. So Darren Binder there is in 19th overall on 6 points. He's 4 points ahead of his teammate Andrea Dovizioso, and only 8 points behind Franco Morbidelli in 12th.
Exactly.
I don't think he's going to beat Quartararo, and I don't think he's probably not going to beat Franco Morbidelli. But if he beats Dovi over the year, man, that's already a fucking result.
That is, you know, to beat your teammate is always one of your first goals, but to beat someone of that experience, you know, has been there for so long. I think he's going to be closer to Frankie in the points tables than we think. I really do.
He might be closer to Frankie than Frankie is to Quartararo, and that would still be a fucking good result.
Exactly. People will start to take note of this. But yeah, so far this guy's doing an outstanding job.
Yeah,
really
certainly. His teammate then, Andrea Dovizioso, he started this race in 18th, finished down in 20th. But this is a weird one for Dovi because he was classified 20th, and I was convinced he'd retired from the race.
I was as well. I was absolutely convinced because we saw a shot of him on the cameras pulling
into the pits, yeah,
getting off the bike and walking into the garage. And someone from his team, I didn't see who, come out, tapped him on the shoulder, and gave it the cutaway sign under the neck.
So I also thought that's what had happened. When I was watching the race again earlier, turns out when someone came out of the garage and did that that was to Frankie Morbidelli. Yeah. That was when Frankie Morbidelli boxed. So I had also thought that was Dovi.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd got very confused, but I can't remember. We watched Dovi pull into the pits, but he clearly came back out.
Yeah,
We just didn't see him again.
No, because he was just like stone cold last.
Yeah.
At that point, so the camera was just like, "Oh, he's done," and that was it. But yeah, it was all very confusing. It screwed my mind a little bit because I was so enthralled in what else was going on that then I just completely forgot about it. I was like, "Well, he's done."
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, and it was only after the race when Sarah turned out because she's got Dovey in a team. Was like, "Where'd Dovey come?" I was like, "Oh, he didn't finish." Which is like, "Well, it says here he's 20th." I was like, "Huh? What?"
Yeah. He was a long way back, though. It was like almost
Yes.
like a minute and 30 seconds back or something. It was a long way.
It was a very long way, a gulf in time.
Yeah, but then that's what happens when you pull into pit lane and just sit on the bike for a little while.
Yeah, just
but
have a
that was
chill
his. Don't know, that was his front ride height device.
Yeah.
Had failed. So at that point, I imagine, mate, I can't imagine. Well, I've ridden an old 250cc Honda where one of my suspension seals had broken, so there was just no fluid in there, and that bike was horrible. I can't imagine it with a fucking ride height device locked down.
No, it must have been awful. But there we go. There's
That's
always
it.
another race.
Exactly, and there's a fucking shitload of them this season, Steve. 18 more of them to go.
Happy days.
Isn't it mad, though, that we're 3 races into the year and there's still another entire 2018 season to go?
I know. It's great. I love it.
I sort of love it, but I think it's going to get too much. But we'll come on to that at some point.
We're going to be fully chatted out by the end of the year. We're like, oh, no more MotoGP.
Geez, I don't want to look at Steve anymore. Nah, me and Steve, we don't need to talk to each other anymore. We've had enough chats this year. That's all done. We're going to have an entire winter of ignoring each other.
That's it. Like, speak to you on May the 3rd. Or no, March the 3rd or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll maybe get together to do like a testing show. But other than that, nah, don't need to talk to you again for a few months.
We both know that'll never happen. We'll be here all year.
Yeah, exactly. That we will, Steve. We will. The factory Yamaha boys, then, Steve. We mentioned briefly Frankie Morbidelli here. He qualified 15th. He did not finish the race. He had an issue on lap 7. We don't really know what the issue was, but we saw him stand up and like hanging around, looking at the back of the bike. But I haven't at least seen or read or heard anything of what actually happened. But it didn't look great.
Apparently, it was a puncher.
Ah, was it? Okay. But then that's weird because we see the shot of him. This is what the shot that both you and I confused for Dovi.
Yeah.
We see the shot of him. He's on the bike in pit lane, looks ready to go out again. But then I think it's Marigali comes out and waves and he's like, nah, not going. And Frankie jumps off the bike and stomps back in.
Yeah, I put it down like a technical issue, but then I read somewhere online earlier that it was a puncher. I'm like, well, just change the tyre out.
Which looked like that's what he was going to do. I wonder... Yeah. I don't know. Did Yamaha just go, mate, you're not going to recover. We've dropped all the spots here. You're not going to recover. Let's just save the engine.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's more to it than that. And they're just pulling the wool over our eyes just to keep themselves a little bit under the radar.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. I think if I was Yamaha and there was a technical glitch, I don't want to tell any of my opponents that's what it was. Let's blame Michelin. It was a tyre problem.
Yeah, it was them boys. And those boys were like, what? Blame us,
exactly. Yamaha Michelin are already there, busy arguing with Honda, and Yamaha are like, "Oh, let's join in."
Yeah, let's have a go. Let's have a pop at these muppets.
Yeah,
let's join in. I wrap myself up in the headphone cable. Right,
oh no!
Technical issue. There we go. We're back in the game.
That's all right. We're all good. I assume the headphones are nicely charged this week.
Yes, they've had a good full charging.
That's good.
If they break down and let us go this week, well, I'll just have to plug them in again.
Simple solution there, Steve. I thought you were going to say heads will roll, but no, we'll plug them in.
Well, I'll probably just get a new set of headphones, but
that's fair. I mean, these nice. I've got these tiny Bluetooth ones from Sainsbury's, Steve, that cost me like 15 quid or something, and they're pretty great.
I might have to get a set of those. Although you're asking my laptop to use something else that's Bluetooth.
Good point. Let's stick with cabled headphones for you, my friend.
Yeah, this laptop is older than most people, so.
Most people, Jesus.
Well, several people. My 2 kids, anyway.
Yeah, it's certainly older than your 2 kids. Okay, Steve. Honda, then, my friend.
Fabio Quartararo.
We haven't spoken about Fabio Quartararo. God, it's a good job you're here, Steve. I'm 3 cans of Tenants deep, and I don't know what's going on in the fucking world. See, I don't even need to be in the same room as you, and you're still here putting me back on course.
See, I'm just there. I'm like your little angel.
Well, Fabio Quartararo then qualified sixth, finished the race in eighth. Pretty poor launch, and then
Yeah,
just on the straights, man, he was just eaten up by all of those faster bikes.
yeah. This really did highlight just like the difference in top speed, the problems the Yamaha is having. Like I
Yeah,
said,
much like we
launch,
saw in Qatar.
yeah, very much the same. We saw some fabulous aerial shots, and the guys are just woof past him. And he could catch him up on the twisties, no problem. But the usual Yamaha problem, you get round them on the twisties, they go round you on the straight, and you're stalemating. You
And
know,
all this time, the guy behind you, who's also on a V4, is faster in a straight line, is going to overtake you on the next straight because you're too busy fucking about, trying to overtake other people, losing time.
yeah. Yamaha have got so much work to do. They've got to really pull something out of the bag soon, massively.
Yeah.
Um, Otherwise, they're going to lose him. They're going to lose a lot of people, and they're going to become, well, we'll regularly be talking about them first on our list.
Yeah, exactly. But it's an interesting thing with Quartararo here. Is he finished eighth, and I mean he had a ninth place in Qatar, an eighth place now. He's had that second place finish. He's still not out of the title fight here. He's still one of the title protagonists. I mean he's fifth overall, but he's
Yeah.
only 10 points off the lead at the moment, and there's a very few points are covering a lot of riders in the championship at the moment. So Quartararo is still well in it.
He's still there. I mean, we're going to go to some tracks that really suit the Yamaha. Like we get to let's say Saxonbury, really short go-kart track. Austria.
Even Assen,
Yeah, there's so many tracks that will suit and help the Yamaha as long as it hasn't got a massive straight. Magello's going to be an absolute nightmare for him.
yeah, but Mazzano, actually Mazzano's not really great either.
No, Jesus,
Somewhere like
I said-
Phillip Island, they're going to, when you
Yeah.
expect them to go well round. Like, there are tracks they're going to win at, but they need to win at those tracks. But when you look at Quattararo's performance here, eighth place, it doesn't look good overall. But when you actually look down through the championship standings at the moment, like, the guys we expected to be fighting for the championship, Quattararo still beat them all. So he's
Yeah,
still,
exactly.
if the people ahead of him in the championship right now, we're not expecting to stay ahead of him. We're expecting their form to drop off at some point. If Quattararo can just stay consistent like this, it might be enough. It might be like 2020 again, man. Like it's so competitive right now that this might be enough. Just points
think
every round.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's all he can do. Just like fight as hard as he can fight for every single point. And look at who has been on the top step so far. Not taking anything away from them, but so far this year, the other guys who've been on the top step haven't won a championship. Haven't been in title fights before, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But this guy has. So far, he's not done himself any injustice at all, and he's probably got the best out of that machine that anyone ever could.
Yeah, certainly.
He's just going to have to give it 150% every weekend, and just try and flatter that bike in every single way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see.
We will see. Obviously, Steve, we've got in the notes here as well, and say I was going to use this as a nice segue for me jumping into Honda before we'd spoken about Quartararo, but then I just wanted to talk about Quartararo somewhat. But there are now this statement from Quartararo that came out with Sky Sports, I think it was, where he was talking about the Honda interest in him, and he's very much saying like, "Oh, I'm not going to make a contractual decision yet. I'm going to wait to see how the year plays out. But yes, I should pay attention to to what Honda want, and I should be flattered by Honda's interest in me."
He's going to look. You can't not look. If you're on this dog of a bike, and let's face it, Yamaha have not been forthcoming in fixing their issues. And, they've not listened to one of the greatest riders of all time, who has been telling them before his retirement for years, you need to fix this, you need to do this. And no disrespect to Quartararo, if they're not going to listen to him, they're not going to listen to you. Yes, he wasn't a title contender, you are, but they're still not going to listen. They're just going to dig their heels in, do what Yamaha do, and just try and stick to their guns. In my opinion, anyway.
I think that's exactly the case. I also don't think Quartararo's actually going to go and ride a Honda. I think this is just him just being like, oh, go on, chuck an extra zero onto my, probably not extra zero, chuck an extra couple of like digits onto my contract for next time, and then we'll talk. I'm sure this is just him trying to get a better deal next year.
I don't know what it is. If I was him, I would probably say, look, keep the money and put it in a fucking development, for Christ's sake, listen to me.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, mate, I've got maybe 5 years here where I'm going to be really good, so just give me all the money, and then I can just retire.
I don't know. They're racers. They want to win.
No, I mean, that's fair. That's where they probably differ to average Joe, such as myself.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Sorry, there's some what sounds like renovation going on in the background.
Oh, that's fine. I can just see you. You can't hear me now, but Steve's pulling faces. He's pulled the headphones away. Sill's face is confused. He's back. The headphones are back on. Steve is in the room.
I'm back. I can still hear you. These things are quite loud. I'm just trying to work out what the hell's going on. It's because normally when we record and I've got this mic plugged or turned on, I can hear what's going on in the background. But now because we're using a separate mic, I can't. So it's just bringing everything through as a dull ache. I think Sarah's tidying up the kids' toys.
Okay, that's fair enough. I thought when you said renovations, I thought Sarah was like just knocking a wall down or something.
Oh, she does that anyway. I'll come home. She's like, house project. Bang.
She's like, I've taken the stairs down today.
Oh, don't. That's coming, I'm sure.
I once stayed in a hostel, Steve, where when I turned up to book into this hostel, we walked in and we were like, oh, so-and-so, this is our names. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll take you to your room. And we went out into the courtyard and they were like, your room's up there. But we've taken the stairs down to paint them, so we can't let you in there till tonight when we put the stairs back in.
Nice. That's just what you want.
Yeah, so I was just sitting in this hostel, and they had a pet tortoise and a pet pig in the hostel as well.
Nice.
So at least there was fun things to play with in the garden.
Yeah, why not? You know, I don't know what I'd play with. I think I'd probably end up just playing with a pig because those things are cool.
The pig's a bit more energetic. The tortoise just came up and just looked at you confused, whereas the pig actually wanted to play, so it was the pig, wasn't it, every time?
Yeah. My cousin's got sold a micro pig as a house pet.
That's so good. I've never even heard of anyone that knows anyone that bought a micro pig. And we say micro pig in inverted commas, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this thing is not a fucking micro pig, mate. It's more like a full bore hog.
That's
the
great.
Thing is massive. They called it Rodney, as you do. Try.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. That's a very British name.
That is very British, yeah. For anyone who's not in the know, look up Only Fools and Horses.
Honestly, actually, it's not that great.
No, it's not that great.
Gonna put that out there.
Yeah, it's not bad. But anyway, yeah, they bought this thing. It's supposed to be like
this generational gap between Steve and I, because I really do think it's a bit shit.
It's not that bad. It is a bit shit, but it's not that bad. Anyway, yeah, they bought this thing thinking it was going to be like the size of, I don't know, a Pomeranian or something. No, fuck me. They've got like a Great Dane.
Oh, that's so good, man. I'd love a pig. I really like pigs. I'd like a pet pig.
I don't know. We keep talking about getting the boys a pet, and I'm all for a chinchilla.
Oh, chinchillas are cool pets, man.
Yeah, I had a chinchilla before, and I called him Chimney.
Nice. That's a good name.
Chimney Chinchilla, yeah. I really liked him. He was really cool. He just looked mental when you gave him a sand bath. Freaking nuts. But I'm also in the mood for another snake, but Sarah's not so happy about that.
The thing with snakes is snakes are a bit boring. Like, snakes are fine, but they're not exciting. I want a really fluffy animal that I can cuddle, but will also run around and want to be played with. Like, a snake is just that kind of animal where I feel like they just sort of hate you. They're a bit like a cat, but not cuddly enough. They hate you, but they're not furry, so, nah, it's not really for me.
No, I'm very much the opinion. I don't know. I just don't know what I want. We keep talking about a dog, but their dog's a lot of hard work, and I work. She's got the boys to look after it. It's just too much. Fish are the way forward.
Fish are nice and easy and brightly coloured, and you can have quite a lot of fun with a tropical fish tank.
Yeah. Anyway,
Honda. That was the tangent of the show, Steve. That went on. If anyone has stuck with us through that tangent, geez, guys, thank you. Honda it is. Okay, starting with what was a terrible weekend, really, across the board for Honda. But we'll start with the satellite boys here, the LCR guys. Taka Nakagami, then, Steve. He qualified 10th. He finished the race in 12th. Obviously, he arrived at, 1 o'clock Saturday morning or something because of the COVID situation.
Like yeah.
So he had fuck all sleep. He goes out to free practice and just tops free practice sessions. Like, he just crushed it and looked great.
Maybe it's that the kind of like energy you get. You know when you're really tired and you get that second wind? I think it was probably that. We just got the natural kind of like endorphin boost from it. It was just like, yes, let's go. The dopamines are flowing.
That's it. It's that moment when you like wake up at 5 minutes before you need to be at work, and you're like, oh shit, and you just have that huge boost of energy, and you rush about, and you get to work with 3 minutes late or something. You're like, fuck me, I just got out of bed and got to work in 8 minutes. It normally takes me 25 minutes to drive it.
Yeah, and you're wondering how you're not dead.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that probably Taka had that kind of moment, because then qualifying, like we say, in 10th, he got through Q1 to get that 10th position, but then finished the race in 12th. So a reasonable weekend for Taka, actually, all things considered.
Yeah, considering the rush job that it was to get there, get sorted, not bad at all things considered.
Yeah, exactly. His teammate and Alex Marquez then, Steve, qualified 19th, finished the race in 15th. Didn't really see anything of him on TV at all weekend. I don't really have anything to say about him.
No, just off radar again. Just did his job again. Very much what we say about Alex Marquez nearly every week now. Just does his job.
Just does his job, scores a couple of points. I'd just like to see him back at the pointy end, mate. It was really fun to see him in his rookie year scoring those podiums and stuff. I'd just like to see him back up there.
Yeah, same here. I think it'll come. It will come. I think it's just been the Alex Marquez very slow burn.
Which we know is a thing. So hopefully, over time he can improve and get better and better. Yeah. Speaking of anonymous weekend, Steve, obviously Marc Marquez wasn't here due to the double vision incident from the crash he had at Mandalika morning warm-up session. Yep. So Stefan Bradl stepped in. Stefan Bradl qualified 24th, finished the race in 19th. I don't think we saw him at all during the race.
I remember seeing him once. Not during the race. I saw him once all weekend in practice, and that was it.
Okay.
That's all I really remember.
Yeah, it really wasn't an exciting one from him this weekend.
No. Bless him. But he always comes in, always does his best. He retired racer, coming off the back of a presenting career, and just steps it up. He's always there. He's just reliable.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. And to be fair, from what we know from these stand-ins last year, he's probably just testing parts, actually. He's probably not there to score points. He's just there to test bits and get ready for when Marc Marquez is back.
Exactly. Just doing a stellar job at that.
Exactly. His teammate then in Pol Espargaro for the weekend here. Pol Espargaro got through Q1 to qualify in 4th overall. And actually looked pretty good in the race, Steve. He was there. He's racing up at the top. Off the line, he got an amazing launch into 2nd, pretty much was 3rd by the end of turns 1, 2, 3. And then ended up in P4, but crashed out from 4th place. But he really looked like he had the pace to stay with those guys and to be fighting for that podium.
Yeah, he really likes this bike. He said said many times how much he likes this bike, likes the changes, and finally it's working for him, and it's showing. He could do things that he wants to with this bike now. And like you say, he looked racy. He looked really good, and I was proper gutted when I saw him crashed out.
Me too.
He's, not being favouritist because he's in my dream team. But I like seeing someone that's really put in the graft and just get some results, and it's nice just to see him looking encouraged.
Yeah, certainly.
So gutted for him, absolutely gutted he did not finish.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on then, Steve. This I think is going to be a pretty quick one as we talk about our next factory here in KTM. KTM had one of the most anonymous weekends I've seen from them. The only reason they're not, we haven't ranked them worse than Yamaha and Honda is because they at least scored some points.
They all finished.
They did all finish as well, actually. Good shout, yep.
I suppose Pit Buyer must have been like, no repair bills.
Yeah, I wonder, were they the only No, Suzuki and Aprilia also had all their riders finish.
Yeah, they were they had the most riders finish.
Yes, that's a good shout. They did have the most riders finish. So then let's start. It's easy at the moment with the two Tech 3 rookies here because they are still finding their feet in MotoGP, and we're kind of getting to understand that this KTM is not an easy bike to jump onto straight away. Probably better than an early Honda was. Not as nice as a Yamaha is as a rookie, though. Like it's certainly going to be on the tougher end of bikes to ride.
It still takes a little bit of dialing in, but they're getting there.
Certainly getting there. So Remy Gardner qualified 22nd, finished the race 17th. Raul Fernandez went one better all weekend to qualify 21st, finished the race in 16th.
Beat your teammate. What more?
Well, that's sort of it, isn't it? Beat the teammate, we're away, happy days.
Yeah, don't crash, come home, happy days.
Yeah, quite. How far? What was the gap between them in the race? I wonder.
I think they're fairly
2.8 seconds or something between them.
so yeah, not close.
So the factory boys then, Steve. Last time winner Miguel Oliveira qualified 16th, finished the race in 13th. Man, like Oliveira when he's on form is so fucking good, so good, and then he does this shit.
The stars really do have to align for this guy. I'm starting to feel like he's a proper, only when it is completely right kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of things have got to align for him. We know what he's capable of. I mean, what has he had? 4 wins now.
Yeah.
You know, he's proven time and time again he's a race winner. But it is just, you know, he's not at the bottom of the field. When it's a bad day, he's still scoring a couple of points. But he's not scoring as many points as we know he could.
No, exactly.
He's not looking as racy as what he could. You know, he's didn't get out of qualifying 1. He's very, very frustrating. He's one of the most frustrating people on the track, I think.
I agree with you because, like we say, when he's on form, Jesus, he's unstoppable. And it's even more frustrating because I really fucking like him, which makes it even more annoying.
Yeah, he is one of the most, to me anyway, one of the most frustrating people out there.
Yeah.
But I still like him.
Yeah. And that makes it more frustrating. That's the annoying thing.
It's like it's like you always say about, who is it? I really want to hate him, but I can't.
It happens a lot. Scott Redding was the one that I loved Scott Redding, and I always felt like he constantly let me down. And I'm kind of getting that feeling. Although Miguel Oliveira, let's face it, has had a much better MotoGP career than Scott Redding did, and he's
that's true.
If you look on results-wise, he's a much better rider. I have that same feeling that I'm just like, just fucking get it all together for a season, just one season.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
His teammate then, Steve, Brad Binder here, qualified 12th, finished the race in 6th. Top KTM again, just kind of that Brad Binder-esque race. Not the best qualifying, makes up positions during the race. It wasn't a manic race, so he didn't pull off some weird wet weather on slick tyres win or, winning on a super slippery, shitty track. Like, it was just a standard Brad Binder KTM race.
Yeah. And the commentators were saying, we got to like 2/3 of the way through the race, and they were calling it like Binder time. This is the time where he's going to start stepping up and will charge forward. So, they're fully aware of it as well. Everyone's starting to really understand that this guy is good on used tyres.
Yeah.
And is really establishing himself as one of the, not outstanding riders, but top riders in MotoGP at the minute.
Certainly, he just needs to qualify. Just put it in the top 2 rows. Brad Binder, if he could put it in on the top 2 rows in qualifying every time, he'd be leading the championship right now. He'd be maybe looking like the title favourite going into this year.
Yeah, he consistently charges forward, finishes really, really strongly. Like you say, get a grip with qualifying. That is the one thing. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully he's listened,
Maybe, although I think he'd be terrifying if he just phoned us up. He's like, I heard you've been bad-mouthing me, boys. I'm like, fuck, I'm sorry, Brad. I'm really sorry, Brad. It wasn't me, Brad. It was Steve, Brad. I'm sorry, Brad. Bye, and I just hang up.
Yeah. Just hand it over to me.
Yeah. I mean, I can deal with emails. Steve's much better on the phone.
Yeah. I'll be like, I'll tell you what, send us a couple of race tickets. We'll come to a track and we'll have a chat.
See, smooth. That's why you deal with the phone calls, Steve, because that's the kind of quick thinking that gets you free tickets to a MotoGP race.
I try, mate.
Ducati are next on our list then, Steve.
Aye.
So, tons of fucking Ducatis, mate. There's so many of them. So we'll just start with...
I get a bit lost with Ducati. I'm just
I
like,
know.
oh, God.
I just look at this list and I'm like, fucking hell, there's 8 of them. 8 of them to talk about.
That's why I'm really glad that there's some they're all very different, and there's some really bright bikes in there, because then I can start to pick them out. If they were all similar, I'd be fucked.
I actually had a couple of moments during this race in Argentina, Steve, where it scanned back to the back of the pack, or not to the back of the pack at all, but, it was kind of that battle between 5th and 8th, and it was scanned back there, and I saw someone, was like, which Ducati is that?
Yeah.
Because I just saw a flash of red, but then I was like, hang on, there's more black on there than I've ever seen before. But it's got a Ducati wing on it, and I was really confused, and I had to pause and rewind. I was like, fuck, that was Maverick. I was like, I'm getting the Aprilia and the Ducati confused now. When there is moments when they're racing where just enough of the Aprilia red flashes that it looks like a red and black Ducati.
Yeah, I've had exactly the same thing. I think they should all be completely different. What, like, one solid colour. You've got yellow, you've got blue, you've got solid red.
Oh
Done.
yeah, imagine if Dorna were just like, I tell you what, guys, fuck your branding. Here's the colour you've got to have the majority of your bike to be. Work with that. So you could say you got 75% of your bike has got to be the colour we choose, and then after that, do what the fuck you like. But wouldn't that make life easier?
That would. I remember, was it World Superbikes? Was it Ben Bostrom ran an L&M Ducati? And honestly, it was red with a massive fuck off great white, round white logo in the middle of the fairing, and you could not miss it.
Uh
Could
huh.
not miss it. And you knew it was his bike from a mile off. Looked a lot like the Infistrada Ducati colours, but he just had this massive fuck off white dot in the middle. And then halfway through the season, they had to get rid of the L&M in the middle because they pulled tobacco sponsorship.
Uh
So
huh.
it really was just this solid white dot, and they just didn't bother filling it in. They were just like, "Oh, leave it."
That's because everyone knows what that means.
Yeah,
So without actually doing the advertising, they're still doing the advertising.
yeah, it just worked. I was like, "Well, the L&M logo used to be there." Oh yeah, L&M. I'm off down the shops.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Speaking of Steve,
Yes,
tobacco advertising, Ducati.
Ducati.
So let's start that. That's my Marlboro mission with no joke in there, but that's fine.
Snuck
Just for
it in
anyone who didn't
seamlessly.
realise there. The let's call it the third tier Ducati squad, I suppose, or fourth tier, I guess, Ducati squad in
I don't know.
the Grassini bikes, the only team to be running two GP21s.
Yes,
Fabio Di Gianantonio here, qualified 20th, did not finish the race, crashed out pretty early on.
he did crash very early. Was it lap 3?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty damn early.
And then Enea Bastianini, his teammate, qualified 13th, finished the race in 10th. Was fighting well inside the top 10, but had a big moment on lap 16.
Yep.
Ran super, super wide. I thought he was about to crash, but he managed to hold it. But he dropped 5 or 6 spots from that and then spent the rest of the race just making those places back.
Yeah, he did make a few up, but not as many. And everyone was running such similar pace that he couldn't claw it that far back. And we saw the second you got offline on this track, it was super, super dusty.
Yeah, and you could see the dust popping up like the
You're
rooster
really
tails
good.
that we see in the wet.
Yeah, exactly that. And these guys were wobbling, properly wobbling offline.
Yeah.
And I saw him go out wide. I was like, "You're in my fucking dream team, man. Come on." So when you lot just finish the race.
The good news is, Steve, he's still 36 points in the championship. He's only 9 points back of the championship lead. But even that, man, that's not what we expected from him this year. I didn't expect him to be anywhere near the championship lead. So he's already had a fucking cracking year.
He has, and he's just a really, really nice guy, and nice guy to look at as well. Handsome
Yeah,
devil.
he is a handsome man, isn't he? He's a
He
very
is.
attractive fella. Like,
He
honestly,
is.
he's the Australian surfer bum of that grid. Like, there might be Jack Miller and Remy Gardner there, but the man that suits wearing nothing but board shorts and carrying a surfboard the most is without a doubt Enea Bastianini.
Absolutely, mate. Could not agree more.
Yeah, it's sort of annoying, actually.
They are sickeningly annoying, aren't they? They're all sick. You know, you got your Zarkos who's just fucking good at everything, and then you've got these handsome and like Spanish Italian bastards. And then I look in the mirror in the morning and go, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, and then we had Bradley Smith as the Brit.
Yeah, it's like, come on, Brad, you lost your hair at 3 years old, mate.
Yeah. Okay, Steve, on to more attractive Italian fellows on Italian motorcycles, Marco Bezzecchi and Luca Marini.
Aye.
Marco Bezzecchi finished 17th. No, he did not. He qualified 17th, Steve, and he finished 9th in the race, making up 8 spots in the race to be top rookie and taking Rookie of the Year lead.
He is doing really well, mate, so far. Just sneaking it up, like in there all the time.
Yeah.
Just consistent.
The impressive thing is this race, Steve, is he beat his teammate in Luca Marini. Luca Marini started the race in 3rd place. He's on the GP22. He finished back in 11th. So even Bezzecchi starting 17th managed to beat Marini. Like, Bezzecchi must have got back into that garage and went like, fucking result, boys. That was a cracker.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know just it was a weird weekend for them. One qualified good, one qualified bad, but they just swapped. It was like come race day, nothing worked.
Yeah.
Well, for one, it did for the other. Just weird. But either way, one was good, one was average.
Yeah, exactly that, my friend. And that sort of sums up the Pramac squad as well, to be honest, for the weekend,
Yeah, pretty
Steve.
much.
Johan Zarco qualified ninth and actually did not finish the race, so it's probably a
So
worse than average score there. He crashed out fighting just outside the top 10, and it was around lap 6. It was pretty early on.
it was, yeah, quite early.
His teammate, on the other hand, Steve, Jorge Martin. Oh my God, Jorge Martin. Whew, as far as rookies go, man, he's not a rookie anymore. I'm aware that he's a sophomore, but this fella is up there with the Fabio Quartararo's. He's not quite Marc Marquez, is he? And he didn't have the same rookie season as Fabio Quartararo, even though he did manage to win a race. But honestly, what a great, it's sort of a great and a sort of a terrible start from the year from him. In this race, he qualified second. He finished the race in second. He's not started a race off the front row this year, Steve.
Nope.
But this is the first time he's managed to finish a race.
Yeah. So
But he did what a race, man. Excellent race, like a proper veteran in this one.
he did. Yeah, I mean, he led for a long time. A really long time. He just looked good. He could hit. He hit the front and just bossed it.
Yeah.
Just rode pinpoint perfectly. For a guy who's not really been in the MotoGP paddock that long, the knowledge this guy is gaining and the maturity he has shown from the off has just been incredible.
Yeah.
If he keeps building like this guy is a real threat.
A proper threat, man. And like he's still going to be a factory favourite, I think, over Bastianini for next year and probably over Miller. But yeah, like Martin is probably going to be a world champion in the future. It'd be very hard to imagine him not becoming world champion somewhere along the line.
No. I'm going to throw it out there now, my feelings about Ducati. With the way they're going this year, I think by the time the factory boys actually recover, we'll get onto them in a sec, from their doldrums of this year, they're not going to catch this guy by the end of the year. He is going to be top Ducati at the end of the year.
You reckon he's going to pull too much of a gap? Where is he now? Well, he's only got 20 points, to be fair, because he didn't score in the first two rounds.
No, but I think he's going to catch up and creep ahead.
Yeah, well, he's still ahead of both factory guys.
Yeah.
He's in, ninth with 20 points. Jack Miller's in 11th with 15. Pekka Bagnaia in 14th with 12. So Zarco is 4 points ahead of Martin. And then the only other Ducati is Nea Bastianini, who's 16 points ahead.
Yeah. I just think he's going to creep up and then just pull ahead. I think Bastianini will have good results, but I think he's going to be up and down.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
I think this guy's just going to consistently finish better than them all.
Yeah.
Really do.
We'll see how this one plays out, eh?
I know. I love it.
Okay, Steve, the factory boys then, you alluded to it just then, so let's dive into them. Jack Miller first, qualified 11th, finished the race in 14th, but also started the race in 14th. He got a 3-race grid penalty for riding slowly on the racing line during qualifying.
Yep.
But the really weird thing was Miller looked pretty strong most of the day Saturday, and then qualifying hit, and just nothing. He just sort of fell apart.
Yeah, I have no idea what went wrong. It was like someone literally just flicked the switch.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
Yeah, in that short spell between free practice and qualifying, it just all sort of went to pot.
Yeah.
And like you say in the show notes, he never recovered.
No, he never recovered at all. He did say in an interview this is the only MotoGP, well, the only race he's ever competed in where he didn't overtake anyone all race.
Yeah, it was so strange. I don't know what went on. Something definitely was not right. Something just didn't work. And obviously it was not enough time to work out what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not great for him.
His teammate, though, sort of, I want to say on the other hand, but it's not really. Like, Pekka Bagnaia here, he qualified 14th, but finished the race in 5th. Finally scored some reasonable points, even though 5th place should not be what we're shouting about, being like, oh my God, Bagnaia scored a 5th on his 3rd race of the year. Isn't that a fucking result? That's not what we should be saying. No. So it's been a bad year so far, but these maybe, is this that first step on improvement for the year? Is Pecco going to get his season on track from here?
I think you could be right. I think this could be the first step in, like you say, some massive improvements. You know, so we're talking about the guy who went on a tear at the end of last year and then has just had a shocker at the start of this year. I think this could be the first point where we're going, oh, he's finally getting to grips with this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a race or two before he actually gets everything really dialed in and then can push forward and start getting consistent good results. But yeah, I think this could be a turning point.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Hope so, anyway.
The Ducati looked very unstable over the bumps, especially during qualifying, man. Like, especially Pecco's Ducati, actually. The rest of them looked pretty planted. Pecco's looked weird over the bumps. He was having some scary, scary moments.
He was, yeah.
But it appears after chatting to Jack a little bit, and Jack was showing some lines and a couple of cheeky tricks here and there, and from that, Pecco had a much better race. A better race than the weekend showed so far, and a much better race than the opening round. So, like I said, hopefully this is it, and Pecco's going to be back on form, and he hasn't dug too much of a hole that he's going to struggle to get back into this championship hunt.
No, I think he's given himself an uphill slog, whatever happens. But we know what he's capable of. So, as long as he can become consistent, he'll be okay. But he's given himself a mountain to climb.
Yeah, so he's, where did we say he was? 14th in the championship. Yeah. Oh, fuck me, man. He's only a single point above Marc Marquez. Marquez has only finished one race this year. Only raced in one race this year.
Exactly. You look at those kind of stats, 3 races in. I know it's nothing really, like you said, we've got 18 to go.
Yeah, got an entire season ahead of us yet.
Yeah, but considering you're 1 point ahead of someone who's only had one race.
And also 33 points back off the championship lead already.
Exactly. It's going to be tough, but it's doable, but tough.
Yes, certainly.
And it's certainly going to heap the pressure on.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Right, Steve, I'm not going to lie to you, my friend. I really need a wee. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about Suzuki and Aprilia, and then we will dive into our preview of COTA.
Okay, buddy, we'll do that.
Okay, guys, bear with us for just one moment, and we will be right back with you. Thank you for bearing with us, guys. We are back. I speak for myself only here, but my bladder is empty. My beer is replenished.
There it is.
Steve, I assume your house hasn't been knocked down during the podcast. I assume everything is okay.
Yeah, everything is fine. It's Sarah sorted now. The boys' toys.
Okay.
Yeah. They have a lot of stuff. They have a lot of toys people give them. We have 2 big toy boxes in the other room, and stuff gets mixed up. She's just having to sort out. That's what I could hear. Yeah, so I just wandered into like kids' toys everywhere. I was like, oh, standard.
You're like, right then, I'm going back to podcast now.
Yeah, see you later. I'll leave you to it. Right.
Okay, Steve. So Suzuki are next on our list, my friend.
They are, buddy.
We're coming into the top 2 factories here. So Suzuki, Johan Mir, let's go with first. Qualified 8th. 4th overall in the race. This was just a good race from Mir. Very happy to see him back in the pointy end of things and looking like, given a few more laps, he could have challenged again.
Yeah, I think so. It just seems like, it feels like standard Mir. Just qualify okay and have a good result. It feels like just where he is meant to be, to me. Just how I feel about him.
And it was these kind of performances that won him the 2020 title.
Exactly. Just don't finish badly, and he just feels like normal Mir, just right. Everything's right in his world, except
Steve, for the one simple fact that his teammate was faster all weekend.
I know that don't happen.
This doesn't happen, Steve. Alex Rins qualified 7th and finished the race in 3rd. Wow, this is just not the weekend you expect from Rins. You don't expect Rins to come out and just be legitimately faster without crashing, legitimately faster than Johan Mir. You just don't expect it, but this is the weekend where Rins came out and did it.
I just blitzed it. It's like just something clicked. He's like, right, I'm having it this weekend. This is mine. I'm going to beat you. And just went out and did it. Like you say, qualified 1 place better, finished 1 place better, but he got on the podium. Didn't crash. Wasn't
That's
Alex
the
Bins.
Important thing. Yeah, exactly. And started to finally look like the rider he's supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like, I don't know, this might be a tipping point. This could be the time where suddenly Rins becomes top Suzuki rider and, just starts to pull it all together, and we're going to have to, start calling him Alex Rins and not Alex
Bins.
Wins. Yeah, maybe. That would be a thing. Crikey,
To be fair, going into, we've got Kota next. Kota is the site of Alex Rins' first win.
Exactly.
This is a track he's going to go around. If he can stamp some authority over his teammate onto this team now and show, like, look, I can be fucking rapid. I don't have to be crashy. I need a contract for next year. Like, this could be a turning point for Alex Rins.
Yeah, this could be the point where he starts to save his ride. This really could be the point where he makes Suzuki take note and they pen them both.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Mir reacts to this.
Yeah, that is one thing I'm really looking forward to. How suddenly he copes with not being the top dog in that garage. It's going to be an interesting one. I think he'll just carry on as normal.
Yeah,
but we haven't seen it yet, so it's just going to be interesting. Keep an eye on him and to see what it does to his mentality, to his focus.
Yes, certainly.
We will see.
We will indeed. I did think all the way through this race, though, Steve, while we were watching Alex Rins, I was like, at any moment he's going to crash. I was on the edge of my seat. I could just see him there in third, and I was like, he's going to fucking crash. He's gonna crash, and he didn't. And it just pleases me so much. I've said it before. I really do like Alex Rins, and he's one of the riders again that I feel a bit personally offended by when he keeps crashing and doesn't do well. So I'm really happy to see him performing again.
Yeah, me too. And look how stoked he was just to be on the podium.
Yes,
just so happy. So happy to be there, and rightfully so.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, that then brings us to another very happy camp.
Oh, very, mate.
Oh my God. I just can't quite believe what happened this weekend with Aprilia.
Well, something we said 2 years ago we didn't think would happen.
Yeah, We're finally talking fucking about happened.
Aprilia last.
I know, isn't that amazing? For years on this show, Steve, we just slated Aprilia, and over the last year or two, we've said over and over again, like, yeah, we were really hard on Aprilia, but Aprilia are pulling out the fucking bag, and oh my God, when it really counted, did they pull it out of the fucking bag, Steve? What a result for the entire factory! Just what a great weekend, man.
It was, mate. Let's start with Vinales. Let's talk about him.
Okay, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here with my excitement. So yes, okay. Maverick Vinales qualified 5th, finished the race in 7th. A good weekend for Mav, actually, all
really
things considered.
Really, really good. Yeah, so like you said, qualified at 5th, got a little bit swallowed up in the first lap, and I was really fearful we were going to see a proper classic Mav.
Oh, that's what I thought, man. I was like, fuck, he's got a heavy tank. He's been pushed offline. Fuck, two cunts have just gone past him. That's it. He's now going to drop 10 spots.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. But it just didn't happen. He dropped a little bit and held it and looked racy. He looked good through qualifying, through practice. And just all of a sudden, it was like, well, hang on, he's not dropping back anymore. He's actually fighting here. Yeah. And he's moving forward. He's started to move up the field. It's like, what the hell? What is this? This don't happen. And then he just kept circulating, just pulling out points, just pulling out gaps, just closing people down. It's like, what the fuck? Come on, Mav.
Yeah,
it was the back.
It was very good. That 7th place in the end, and this would have been amazing if it hadn't been for what Aleix Espargaro did in this race, Steve. We would be talking about Maverick Vinales right now, like, oh my God, he's clicked with the Aprilia, he's good to go, he's going to be challenging for podiums next. We'd be super stoked about it. And while I think all that is maybe true, we also clearly know from what Aleix did that the Aprilia was just very good around Argentina this weekend. It was very good, but I think it's a huge confidence boost for Mav, and I think we will see Mav on a podium on the Aprilia by the end of the year.
I think you're right. I think we could see a situation where we got both Aprilias on the podium this year.
That'd be wonderful.
I think this is the point where it has just finally, truly come together. We've talked about the improvements they've made over the last year and a half, 2 years, and this just feels like the start of the really good grace period at Aprilia. To me, it feels like they've just got it together. They've got 2 riders in there that they know are race winners, or not. Well, they are now, and it just feels good.
Yes, exactly. And with that, Steve, let's talk about Aleix Espargaro.
Let's do it, mate. Let's get on to this guy.
Qualified first, won the fucking race. 200th MotoGP race, Steve. His 283rd or 84th, depending whether you believe the Dorna graphics or the BT Sport commentators, but irrelevant. It was his 280-something Grand Prix race across all classes, and he finally, Steve, took his first win.
Fantastic, mate. So happy for him. It just, to do it on your 200th race in the Premier class, you can't ask for better. What a legacy. This guy has put in so much graft.
Quite.
You look at some of the things he's done for Aprilia, just, stuck with it where other guys would have bailed. The belief that he has had. We know he's been the top rider there for a long time. They've put a lot of faith in him. He's put tested parts. He's really developed this bike. But many people would have bailed out a long time ago.
Yeah, certainly. That's exactly it. Like, a lot of people just would have given up and would have just been like, well, fuck this. I'm so good at cycling. I'm just going to go do cycling instead. But this was just astounding to see, mate. I was so happy for him, so happy for Aprilia. And it's amazing to just see it happen, because now, Steve, every single rider on the MotoGP grid has won at least a Grand Prix in A class at this point.
Exactly.
Like, it's just astounding. Now, every manufacturer in MotoGP has won a race. Every manufacturer stood on the podium. Almost every rider has been on the podium. Like, it's this astounding level of statistics we've got in MotoGP, and this was just the cherry on top, mate. Like, if this had happened at the end of the year, I'd be like, this is the cherry on top of the season. But it's happened at the fucking start, man, which makes it even better. Like, this season's going to be mad.
It really has just opened it up for something incredible. They'll probably not go and win anything else or do anything else now, but we've got to see it. And being at the start of the year, it just opens up we've got 18 races to go. What else could happen?
Certainly, it's just that mad shit. But like we say, weird shit happens at Argentina. But Aprilia were targeting tracks for wins this year. Argentina wasn't one of them. So It's a nice thing to know that there are tracks coming up that they think they are going to be really strong around.
Exactly. There's far more to come from these guys now. And Aleix and Mav, the whole thing now looks like a solid setup.
Yeah, properly good, mate. It's amazing, and it amazed me, this stat that we learnt about Aleix Espargaro here, that he's had a pole position with 3 different manufacturers now.
Yes.
How many riders can you name that have had pole positions with 3 manufacturers? Because I was trying to tick this off. Rossi never had a Ducati pole position, did he?
No, he didn't.
So Lorenzo, we know, didn't do it. It gets to the point where I'm like, fuck, I can't really think of many. It's hard to think of riders that have driven or ridden for 3 manufacturers successfully enough to even consider this. Did Zarco ever have a KTM pole position?
Don't believe he did.
Okay, so that's that. Like, there's not many riders that have done this. I'm sure there's some, and if you know of any, guys, please do write in. The details will be at the end of the show. But yeah, there's not many.
No, not many at all, mate. Not in the current climate. I have to really step it back in the stats.
I'm sure if you were to like Giacomo Agostini, definitely did, but
not in what we now consider the Premier class. There aren't many riders that will bounce around 3 manufacturers.
No, exactly.
That's another good stat for him to have.
Yeah, it's a wonderful one, mate. And the most races before a race win. He's now the oldest ever debut winner of a Grand Prix race or a MotoGP race. Just absolutely fucking fantastic, mate.
Yeah, it really is good. I'm so chuffed for him. Scenes in Parc Fermé when he got back to the garage were nuts. We spoke about it before the show, saying how what it was like when he was about to be interviewed by the guys, and he's just got his phone. He's like, no, sod you all, I am calling the wife.
And it was fantastic to see. And the really mental thing is, Steve, is that he's now leading the fucking championship.
I know.
Aleix Espargaro on an Aprilia is leading the championship. If you were to tell me, Steve, at the start of this year, that 3 rounds in, the top 3 in the championship would be Aleix Espargaro, Brad Binder, and Enea Bastianini, I'd have probably told you just to fuck off. But
yeah, I think a lot
look
of
at it.
Would.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is where we find ourselves, and it is a beautiful place to find ourselves.
Certainly, mate, it's wonderful. Like, this year has just been bonkers. So far this year, Steve, we've had 3 races.
Yes.
3 different winners.
Yes.
3 different manufacturers have won the races. All of whom are European.
Yes.
There's been 9 different riders on the podium, and all 6 manufacturers have been on the podium.
in 3 races.
In 3 rounds. Those are the kind of stats, Steve. Imagine if in 2012, 2011, well, kind of the 2009 through to 2013 period, really. If I told you throughout a season you'll get all of the manufacturers on a podium, you'll have 9 different riders on the podium. Across a season, you'd have been like, oh, that's going to be a good year. That's going to be a good year. But as it is, man, fuck, 3 races in. Like, MotoGP is just breaking records across the board.
It is at the minute, mate. It is doing some outstanding things. Like I say, it can only get better.
Well, how much better can it get? This is the mad thing, because we say this every year. We're like, this is the most competitive racing series. Has it reached its zenith now? Can it get better than this?
I think the only way it could get better than this is if we truly have no conception of who will be where every race.
Oh my God, if we have like a 6 manufacturer battle for the championship at the end of the year, you'd be like, oh my God, this is the motorsport to be watching.
Yeah, we're still getting gaps between riders. We get the front two, there may be half a second, we've got third and fourth and fifth. We're getting to that point where they're all bunching up. All manufacturers are title contenders. They all have tracks that they go well at, but that's getting less and less.
Yeah.
All these bikes are getting more and more competitive, and it's only going to get closer and closer. So I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to go. Let's say we're coming up to Mugello, and we have no clue who is going to be where. We're going to see Ducati's top speed ability has been taken away because all of a sudden the Aprilia is as quick as it and the Suzuki's as quick as it, and they all turn well.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be times where we have not got a bloody Scooby-Doo who's going to do what.
That sort of sums up this year, Steve, because if Marc Marquez doesn't arrive back for COTA next weekend, which we haven't really even discussed, but we don't know whether he's going to be back or not at this point. If he doesn't, who the fuck is going to win at COTA?
Exactly.
Oh, mate, what a great year. What a year to be alive. The world might be falling apart, Steve. It might just be crumbling around us. But Jesus, it's a good year for MotoGP.
It is a very, very good year for MotoGP, mate. Really is.
Okay, Steve, on that note, my friend, we need to embarrassingly recap our predictions for the race. But before we do that, you're shouting a timeout to me, Steve. So we'll take a quick stop. And guys, we'll be back with you in just one moment. Sorry about a brief interruption there, guys, and I can only apologise for the sound quality you may or may not have been hearing, but my mic just went tits up, so, that's the kind of bullshit we expect from this show.
Your mic had a secret can of Tennent's stuck in there somewhere.
It's probably me spilling a can of Tennent's over it, to be fair. I don't know, actually, whether any of that sound will have been recorded or not, or whether something over the internet. I don't know. It might have been good my end, but bad your end. We'll find out when it comes to editing.
I'm hoping
if it's terrible, guys, the last minute I can only apologise for. Hopefully it's good now.
Yeah, it's definitely got whatever it was. Every time you spoke, it was just getting a background noise really loud, like interference. So hopefully it was just me hearing it.
We can hope. We'll see. We'll see when it comes to the editing. Anyway, regardless, apologies if it's there, and apologies if it's not there. And Steve and I have just interrupted the show, but we are here to recap our predictions, Steve. This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
So it's not so embarrassing for me, actually, or for you. We both did better than I thought, but I scored a Quartararo win, a Mir second, and a Rins third. As it happened, Rins scored third place, so I'm going to have that.
Yep. Happy days.
You picked a Bastianini first, a Jorge Martin second, and a Quartararo third. And Martin did, in fact, finish second, Steve. So we both got one right in the right spot on the podium.
We did. Yes. That's a draw.
We'll call it a draw. Happy days. And on that note of a draw, Steve, it is time for Pistols at Dawn, because we are going to Texas, Circuit of the Americas, for the next race of MotoGP.
I like Texas. One of my favourite tracks.
Banging track, mate. Love it. Absolutely love it.
It is good. And the whole thing just looks good. I like it on the socials as well, because everyone's out there, seeing reporters out there at the minute. They're all, they're in and out burger. They're all doing the touristy shit, Do
they have In and Out Burger in Texas?
Yeah. Or,
do they? I didn't know that, actually. There's certainly I didn't think they were that far south, but maybe they are.
I don't know. Wherever some of the journos are, they're In and Out burgers, and they're just doing all the touristy crap. I love it. And it's just nice to see all the shots of the track. And I know some of them went to like stopped off at Miami and was just like taking all shots around Miami. Just looks nice.
Nice.
It's definitely a place
Exactly,
we
it
need to go
does.
and visit.
It turns out there are, in fact, In-N-Out burgers in Texas, Steve. You are right.
Nice. Got something right.
Um,
Yay.
I love an In-N-Out burger, mate. The only burger place I've ever been to and ordered something off the quote-unquote secret menu, and it's actually a real thing.
Really, I've never been. Obviously, I've never been to America, so it's on my bucket list. I will, if I ever get there, and it's still going, I will have an In-N-Out burger.
Oh, it's properly good, mate. They are properly good.
Mm.
Anyway, this is our race preview for Texas, Steve.
Yes.
So this is just going to follow the format of all our usual race previews. So let's dive straight in, my friend.
Let's go for it, buddy.
This is the Circuit of the Americas, which is in Austin, Texas, USA. This race weekend will feature MotoGP, Moto2, and Moto3. We will see MotoE very soon once the championship gets back to Europe. The circuit, Steve. This is a 5.5 kilometer, that's 3.43 mile circuit. So it's on the longer end of the circuits here.
It is, yeah, it's up there. Definitely up there in the lengthwise.
Certainly. It features 20 corners. There are 11 left-handers and 9 right-handers. Is that right? Yes, that is right. It's an
That is right.
anti-clockwise
Yeah.
circuit.
Yeah. Why Mr. Marquez loves it so much.
Certainly. And we'll leave you back this weekend, Steve. Who the fuck knows at this point, my man?
We'll do some speculating after, I think.
We'll speculate because that's just what we do best, my friend. But this circuit at COTA, there's no speculation required because it is a 15-meter wide circuit. That's pretty much 50 feet for all of those using old money here. Another one of the wider circuits, kind of the mid-range, really. It's not the 20-meter monsters. It's not the 12-meter skinnier tracks.
No, nicely down the middle.
Exactly. And the longest straight is 1,200 meters. That's 3,937 feet, again, for anyone using old money. But why you would use feet over meters? And this is coming from someone who lives in the UK, where feet is still drilled into us. Meters really is easier. Yeah. I find miles easier than kilometers, but meters easier than feet. So my head's in both worlds here.
So at work, I have to do both because we've got some really old school guys who are still feet in inches. And then we've got all the younger guys who are still now like metric. So
yeah, that's painful.
Yeah, depending on who I'm working with, I could look to my left and get like, just say, one of the engineers, old boys, and he's going, "Oh, it's 1 inch and 7/8." I'm like, "All right, yep." And I'll turn to like one of the apprentices. And he's like, "It's 27 mil." I'm like, brain fried. All right, yeah.
You're like, oh shit. Didn't one of the Mars rovers once fail because the European Space Agency had used Imperial and NASA had used metric, and somewhere along the line they didn't work and just.
I think it was the other way around. Like they built something in conjunction where like half was made in America, feet and inches, and half was made over here in Europe, metric, and they went to put it together, and it just did not fit. Which I think is priceless.
It's funny though, because at what point, if you've written 27 down, does the people on the other end go 27? Geez, 27 inches. That's a huge measurement. Is that right? And they just do it anyway. You mean 27 mil? And they've given you a 27-inch piece. You're like, clearly this is not going to work. Like, someone at some point in this process must have gone, this can't be right.
All right, we're building something to fit in a shoebox. It's 27 inches. All right, fuck it. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, you're like, okay, I've never built one that big, but fair enough. Let's give it a go.
Yeah, who are we building this for? But fuck it, let's do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. If that's what it says on the paperwork. Anyway, COTA first appeared on the MotoGP calendar in 2013. This was Marc Marquez's first pole position, his first MotoGP race win in only his second ever MotoGP race.
Mad statistic.
And in that year, MotoGP also visited Laguna Seca and Indianapolis. So there were 3 races in the US that year, man.
A good year for the US fans.
Great year for the US fans. And that kind of covered, between Laguna, Indy, and COTA, like you're covering a good chunk of like the US there.
That is. I mean, what we got, Austin, Texas, right down south. We've got Laguna over in Cali. I can't pinpoint on the top of my head geographically Indy straight away, but Is it
Yeah, it's a
central?
good point actually. Where is it central? I think it's central.
I've literally just banging a pin in the middle of the map myself.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would be doing. To be fair, if I had to guess right now, I'd just be like, Indianapolis is probably in the middle somewhere. But I'm loading up a Google Maps as we speak, Steve. So I will be able to. I've clicked images rather than maps. Bear with me.
Well, we could get a good image of it, but yeah, that was a good year for MotoGP fans of the US. 3 races, Laguna. Oh, I really wish we were still going to Laguna. I really,
Oh,
really
me
do.
too, man. Me
That is
too.
such an
Just Laguna
amazing
is
track.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really is.
I like we haven't really covered all the tracks in America that they could go to. It's just when you get the backdrops. I mean, looking at some of the Moto America racing, and you see some of the tracks that they go to. Um, I think what one did I watch last year or the year before? Was it Road America in Atlanta or somewhere?
Oh yeah,
Something
yeah.
like
Road
that.
America's mad.
Fucking hell, mate, that was insane. I would love to go and spectate a race there. I'd
Yeah.
love. It's the same throughout the world. There's probably tracks all around the world that are far just on par with like the scenery around it and just the quality of the track. But we just don't go
Yes.
and see them because they're not homologated to be safe enough to come on the calendar. And we're
Yeah.
probably just missing out on so many beautiful places. And I really wish we just could go to them all.
Oh, honestly, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could just literally visit them all, Steve? That would be a
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
you come up with a great idea a few years ago where it was, I think you said you get 4 years, 5 years at a track, and then you have to move on and offer
Yeah,
out.
I think that would be good.
Yeah, we travel, although they travel around the world a lot anyway, but we get to take this fabulous race series to so many different places, and just see so many different things because, through the socials, what the journos, the racers put out there, they're all at the races early. They put a lot of promotion out for the local area. I just think it would do the world a good fling.
Yeah, I agree completely, mate. Turns out Indianapolis Motor Speedway is in, I think it's Indiana, so it's not Indianapolis, the state, but it is, east northeast. It's not far from Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois. So it's up towards the Great Lakes.
Yeah, nice.
So really, between Texas, Laguna Seca, and Indy, there you covered.
You're covered a
Everyone was
big,
in,
big
I
chunk.
say, a good distance. Everyone was in driving distance of a race, as long as your driving distances are based on the massive size that is the United States of America.
It's a bit hench, isn't it? We talk about driving across the UK, we're like, 6 hours. Most people are like, fuck it, that's a standard drive.
It's the maddest thing, mate. When I was talking to my cousin once, and he was driving up to go see his sister at college. He lives in California. She was in college in Seattle. And I was like,
Mm,
oh, that's a day's drive. He's like, a day? He's like, that's a 3 day drive. I was like, 3 days? He's like, yeah, it's a 3 day drive. I was like, what are you talking about? It can't be 3 days. I was like, you driving like 2 hours a day and stopping in a hotel? He's like, no, Tim, like it's 3 8 hours days of driving.
mad, isn't
Fuck
it?
off. And really, when I heard that, I was like, shit. On a map, like California up to Washington, like is pretty close. But Jesus, it's a big country, man.
I know. We forget just how small and really insignificant the UK is. You know,
Well, Steve, the UK isn't insignificant, my friend. We once an empire, don't you remember?
well, not anymore.
Oh, don't do sound so longing for the empire to come back, Steve.
It depends which empire it is. If it comes with a Sith Lord, I'm all game.
Oh, okay. I'm talking the British Empire here, but
Oh
yes,
no, we're on a
certainly,
different page.
I'd rather a Star Wars Empire. That's much more fun.
Yeah, no, fuck the other one. Um,
So anyway, Kota, Steve, this was a track that was built to hold 120,000 fans, which makes it one of the largest circuits the MotoGP
mm,
visits, although not the largest. We've done this before. We've gone through a long list. I
yeah,
think it's
we
somewhere in the top 5 largest circuits.
yeah, we did Google it, didn't we? Who was bigger? But anyway, let's not do that again.
Yeah. So the circuit has took a lot of inspiration from other tracks around the world. It's a Herman Tilke track, and it's one of Herman Tilke's finest pieces of work. To be
It
fair to the
is
guy,
a hell of a track.
almost every corner is profiled after other corners, other astounding corners. There's great elevation changes. There's a
Mm.
long, fast straight. There's hard stops and hairpins and fast flowing corners. This track really has a bit of everything.
It does. It's just got, like you say, it really has a bit of everything. It really suits all the manufacturers. Fast straights for the Dukes, flowing corners for just about every other bike. It's anti-clockwise if you're Mark Marquez. Um,
Yeah, quite.
it really has ticked all the boxes, and it
It
just
really has. The
one of my.
only thing that's let. Oh, sorry, mate. You go. You go.
You're right. You go. You carry on because I've
Uh,
lost the train of thought now. This is the trouble with Skype. This is the trouble. There we go.
oh, that's the first real Skype cock up, though, Steve. We've been managing okay until then.
Well, it's bound to happen. Let's get it out of the way early.
So in the past, there has been a lot of issues with the track surface.
Yeah.
We've seen the track has rippled, the surface has moved, it's got very, very bumpy. It's been diamond planed down to try and make it flat, but that really hasn't been enough. And much of it's been resurfaced this year. So it's going to be really interesting to see how much of a difference that resurfacing job has made.
Yeah, we'll be quite interested. It'll just add a little bit of spice because these guys are obviously going to go there not really knowing what it's going to be like, so they're all going to have to approach it not tentatively, but with an open mind. But again, like you say, we've seen the track ripple up, and in my eyes, if they've resurfaced it, it can only be better.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's grippy, which it probably will be. It's Austin, Texas. It's probably going to be fucking hot. Unless something dramatic happens. And we get a movie scene where Gerard Butler comes barreling through.
I'd like to imagine what film we've got here because all I can think is Gerard Butler in 300 just wearing like pretty much just a thong with his sprayed on abs and being proper shredded.
You and I watched very different Gerard Butler movies. Although I have seen whatever it is, the Spartans or
300. Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite films, mate. Actually, I think it's a wonderful piece of artwork. I think it's one of the most homoerotic action films of all time, and I just love it.
I just like that every one of them is chiseled to fuck.
And every one of them has got terrible spray. Like the thing is, they are all very strong. They are very ripped, all of them. But then they spray on the abs as well. Like they've already got these amazing abs, and then they put a bit of spray to make them look even more amazing. Like it's a fun film. I like it.
Yeah, like you say, very homoerotic. No, let's not go down that road.
Whoa.
I was going to say, before in the past, I went on holiday. I had a little bit of, a fake tan put on. Just, I'm a little bit pasty. This was in my younger days. And it did occur to me at some point that whilst that, the spray tan was settling, I was like, I've actually got a six-pack. I was like, I could just draw this on.
Yeah, that's fair. You should have gone for it, mate.
I was tempted for a very short time. I was like, I could spray this bugger in here. Where's the airbrush?
No one would need to know.
Exactly. I could just stand there looking like I'm just tensed up, but then I'd just be this flabby twat.
Yeah, as long as you don't move, you can just stay in one position for the entire holiday.
That's it. Just holding that catwalk pose for 7 days. Just,
Oh, dear.
Let's get off this subject pretty damn quick.
So, the most wins around COTA, Steve. This is obvious to anyone that's watched MotoGP in the last decade. They go to Marc Marquez. We've been to COTA 8 times, Steve, since 2013. And Marc Marquez has won 7 of those races. The only one he did not win, he crashed out when he had a massive lead because there was a problem with the engine braking in the Honda.
Yes.
Alex Rins went on to win that race. So Alex Rins is the only person that breaks Marc Marquez's dominant record here. And let's face it, it was a technical failure on the bike in 2019 that stopped Marquez winning that race.
Yeah. I don't know. Will we? Oh, we'll talk about that later.
So then the outright lap record around this track, Steve, as you can probably expect, does belong to one Marc Marquez. It was set in 2015 and it was a 202.135. The best race lap record, again, Marc Marquez. This is set in 2014. This was on his run of 10 wins in a row, like we spoke about last week. He set a 2.03575 as a race lap record, and the pole lap record is the same as his outright lap record. Top speed on this circuit, Steve, goes to one Jack Miller last year, in fact, riding the Desmos Adichie GP21.
Yes.
And he scored a 352.9 kilometers an hour, which is 219 miles per hour across the speed trap there, and that's fucking rapid.
That's pretty damn quick on a motorbike, mate. Very damn quick. That's scary shit.
That's really scary.
Yes.
Last year's podium, Steve. Third place was Pecco Bagnaia. Second place was Fabio Quartararo. And first was Marc Marquez.
Yes.
Race distances, I'm not actually sure. MotoGP.com was wrong on these, so I can't
Yeah,
actually tell you what they were.
I looked at it and I was like, don't look right.
I was like, the Moto3 race is longer than the Moto2 race. These race distances are not correct.
Yeah, I was like, this is just pretty much iron over that.
Mhm. Exactly. So weather, Steve, over the weekend, if you're looking for a good weather race, this is the one, my friend. Dry and sunny all weekend. A bit more cloud on Sunday with a chance of rain Sunday night. But
Yep.
aside from that, we're looking at 24 to 30 degrees pretty much every day. Sunny. Track's going to be nice. There shouldn't be a risk of rain or any bullshit going on. So this should be just a dry, nice weekend for racing.
Aye, hot and sweaty inside the leathers, just what we like. I mean,
as I already discussed, Steve, I like my men wearing very little with spray on abs and pretending to be Spartans. So, leather works too, but just the thong is all I really need.
fair enough.
Predictions, Steve.
Oof, I'm lost on this one. I really am.
I didn't write any down because when I sent these notes to you, because I was hoping that I'd have another hour or two to think about my predictions here, but I ain't got a fucking clue, man. I've not got a monkey, so I'm gonna go with the fact we don't know whether Marc Marquez is gonna be back, which complicates things, but I'm just gonna assume he's not for my predictions. So I'm going to say Rins is gonna win. Quartararo. It's a long straight though.
Yeah.
I'm going to. Oh, what am I going to do, Steve? Rins is going to take the win for me. Quartararo is going to be third. And I think we're going to see a weird Ducati getting into second. I don't know who it's going to be, but it's going to be weird. No, it's going to be Aleix Espargaro because he's on a fucking flyer right now. So it's Rins, Espargaro, Quartararo. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's me. That's locked in, Steve. That's in the notes. I've pressed the save button. We're there.
You're there. I like it.
Your turn, my friend.
Alrighty, the tear is going to continue. So Espargaro is going to get second win.
Oh, he took him 200 races to get one, and he gets two in a row.
I think he's opened the taps, mate. I think he's opened the taps. And I think
is it going to be an Espargaro championship this year? Is that what you're saying, Steve? Are Aprilia and Aleix Espargaro going to go and win this championship?
I'm not going to be that bold just yet, but it's coming.
Brave man.
I know. Very brave. I'm not playing the bookies. And then I think he's going to repeat his second place, and I'm going to see Jorge Martin in second.
Okay.
And then I don't know. Third is eluding me a little bit because of that straight. So I don't think we're going to see Yamaha on the podium. I think the highest Yamaha is going to be somewhere around 5th, 6th. Okay. So I am going to go with a bit of a recovery for Pecco Bagnaia.
Oh, we're finally going to see Bagnaia back on the podium.
Yes.
Nice. That's what we like, Steve. The question is, though, isn't it, is we've made those predictions now. I assume you are also assuming Marquez isn't coming back.
Yeah, I think nothing's been officially announced yet. It's now Tuesday. Obviously, this will be out on Wednesday. So you know what's going to happen. Every time we say something like this, the announcement will come tomorrow. So before you get to listen to this, it will all have been announced that he's either
I'm just logging into MotoGP.com now just to see.
I literally, when he went to the toilet, I was quickly flicking through the socials. I was like, don't announce anything yet. Nothing's been officially said, but I don't think he's going to race. I think that he's going to give that Diplopa another week, although this is one of his stronger tracks. We know he'll push if he comes here. And I think the entire team...
And this is the thing. I think his doctors might be just like, nah, mate, because you're just going to go mad when you get there. It's better just not to go there and just keep your unbeaten record, and we'll deal with it later.
Yeah. It's like when you go down the pub for the first time after one. You're like, I'm only having one, 3 a.m. and 10 pints later, you're back in the house, shit-faced.
Smashing down just an entire block of cheese.
Yeah, just because you got the munchies and it's whatever's in the fridge,
Yeah.
All been there.
Certainly have, mate. We certainly have. So yeah, I don't think Marquez is going to be there, but like you say, we may well be proved very wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not even going to speculate where he'll be if he does come back, because I just haven't got a clue.
No, that's it. Just like the rest of MotoGP this year, mate, there's just who the fuck knows.
No, I'm slightly... enlightened by the fact that even like the professionals are all saying they haven't got a freaking Scooby Doo, which makes me feel a lot better about the fact that I haven't.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you.
It kind of brings me on par with them, and I'm just like, yes, I'm as good as the professionals.
I fucking nailed it.
Yes, got there. If my predictions are better than yours, then I'm nicking your job.
Yeah. Cool. On that note, Steve, I think that's pretty much the end of the show, mate.
I think we're there, buddy.
Good stuff. So, guys, thank you all very, very much for listening. If you've got anything you want to say to us, you've got predictions, you think our predictions are terrible, you've got corrections, anything at all, you can get hold of us on.
We are For the Love of MotoGP. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, or come and join the Facebook community, which is still growing nicely. There's been a lot of conversation over there, especially after Espargaro's win. And the Honda speculation with Mr. Marquez. It's all going well over there. Come and join in. Come and let us know what you think. Or if you want to get in touch with us via email, we are For the Love of MotoGP at gmail.com.
That's exactly it. And guys, if you want to play with our fantasy league, I play with my fantasy league before, so that's a cheeky treat for all involved.
Risky start to a
If you want to join our fantasy league, the link is in the show notes, guys. Come in, set up. Steve, I took a big hit this week. I'm down to 78th now. You've gained some places, though. You're up in the 50s now.
Have I? I thought I'd gone down again.
No, I've tumbled, but you've gone up a few places, which has annoyed me.
Are you sure? I'm sure it's like 107th.
Oh my God. Maybe I'm wrong. I've got it open in front of me, I think. No, I haven't quite got it open in front of me. I thought you were ahead of me.
I was for a time, but I do believe I took because
did I check it after qualifying? Maybe
I think you probably did, because I had Bastianini, I had Pole.
Oh, okay. I can see Sarah now up in 62nd.
Yeah, she's gone up a little, or around a little bit. Leagues. Here we go. I am 105th.
105th. Okay, so I'm ahead of you. That makes me feel much better about the situation, Steve. So ignore everything I just said. I'm winning. That's all we need to know.
And we now have 137 players present. Thank you all for joining.
Yes, thank you all for joining. There are, again, we've really still not spoken about this. I've got some basic prize ideas in my head, Steve. We'll throw them by you when we're not on the air. There will be prizes again for this year's show, and I'm sure it will involve custom artwork of some description. Anyway, that's the show, guys. Thank you all very much for listening. If you want to play the Fantasy League, follow the links. Just do the instructions. It's very easy. We'll speak to you next week, guys. Stay safe. Look after each other. Goodbye.
Take care, guys.
Music is by Andrew Greenwood. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.